Hi, my name's Anthony Hodgson. I'm the Director of Business Development at Centrical. Today is Uncomfortable Truths, where we take real Reddit comments and get live reactions from contact centre leaders. Live from London at the big game. So, we are here with Sally Earnshaw, Chief Oompher for her company Oomph. And yeah, we're going to do the Uncomfortable Truth.
All right, here we go. I've worked for the company for a few months now, and while I'm grateful to have a work from home job, I'm finding it difficult to keep my mental health in check. The metrics are absurd, with rapport being the biggest struggle. The calls are back-to-back, 8 hours, and every day. Every single call we have to ask about their day and their pet's name, their breed, their age, and engage with it while trying to get to the problem and get it solved, and have them off the phone in 7 minutes. The act is as exhausting as the script. Oh.
It's a tough one, but reading that out, what's your first reaction, Sally?
Look, it's a shining example of a couple of things. The problem in my mind is if you force something instead of inspire it, so let's talk about, she's saying you have to say the dog's name at every turn or whatever it is. If you make rules around it, it can feel a lot more scripted and robotic than if as leaders we're a little bit more about inspiring the stuff that people would want to have happen in the conversation. So for me, it sounds like a little bit of a, forced rules of engagement versus inspired engagement that gets people to want to do it. The second thing for me is, because I think I understand in that she's working from home, and one of the biggest challenges right now is if we've got people working from home, which we have more often than not, how do you keep those people engaged? And it breaks my heart to think of somebody sitting there for 8 hours a day, feeling the pressure and not feeling that support that I think in particularly contact centre land, we would have had people in offices. So I think there's a couple of things there that just with a little bit of a tweak, I think perhaps we wouldn't have our people feeling like that.
Has it changed though, for the better or for the worse, since people have been working from home? How would you manage teams from home if you were in that position today?
So do I think it's better for lots of people who can fit work into the day-to-day running of their lives? So is it a good thing on that perspective? Absolutely. Is it not a good thing because we're losing connection, team, culture, engagement, the ability for leaders to do what I call eyes up, to be watching, to be seeing who's having a tough call, to be able to be there side by side? All of that stuff has gone. So there has to be some sort of a halfway house. I mean, hybrid is better because you get some of that versus none of it. But it is about leaders finding a way to keep people connected. Something that not many people do, but I've seen this work really well, is there's nothing to stop people from having, like when you're dialed into a Teams call, being dialed into something that even if you're not dialed in, having a conversation in there, but you're all connected in there.
Yep.
So even though you're all at home, you can still see each other, dealing with customers. So you can create team even when team isn't in the room.
Yep.
And I think it's about team leaders up in the dial on connection time, on checking in time, on just making those moments of interaction throughout the day, because I think probably a little bit of out of sight, out of mind can happen in a work from home environment. So it's not easy, it's got harder, but I think there are things that you can do. So,
as we've said, Chewy, you're an amazing brand, right?
Yes.
What would you advise your leaders to watch out for as far as signs are concerned that would, solve this problem before it got to Reddit?
The best organisations create time at the start of every day to do whatever you want to call it. In Virgin, they call them red hot rallies, and in other places, buzz your team up for the day. How you start your day, the priming, which is how you get the brain to be focused on the right thing throughout the day. Just taking 10, 15 minutes every day at the start of your team's day to set them up for success, to do a bit of energising, to get everyone focused on customer is a brilliant thing to do. And I'm not sure how many companies still do that. You can imagine getting up every day, can't you, kind of alone, plugging in, and then starting with the general public, who everybody knows there's a mixture. And, if that's what you've got all day, every day. And in the piece, she says, it's relentless. And it is. And so how we buzz our teams, how we do regular check-ins, how we get people, again, shift patterns are all different, but how do we create lunch breaks together that aren't just lunch breaks at home for those that want it? Yeah. So I just think if we get imaginative about the working from home challenge, I think there's so much that we can do.
I completely agree. Listen, thank you very much for your live reaction.
You're very welcome.